Hi, we're Bill and Alisa Winslow with the Winslow Group here at Coldwell Banker Schmidt Realtors in Northern Michigan with over 2 decades of real estate experience. Today we're going to talk about the January 2023 market report.
I'm really excited about this report because it's the first time I really get to say something different than what I said all year last year. And it's not bad news. The market has shifted. We're going to talk to you about what it means for you, what it means for buyers, what it means for sellers, what it means for realtors even, which is an important thing to make note of as well. So let's get into the numbers. What actually happened? I'm not going to go through a lot of the statistics because in Northern Michigan, you know, we're seasonal, and that means there's a little bit lower number of unit transactions and data to pull from, which can make the percentages bigger or smaller depending on which way they're going, and a whole lot scarier. But I will talk about trends, and there's no doubt with the data that there are significant trends pointing to a market shift here in our backyard. So the first one is we saw declining unit sales across all markets, more substantially declining even than they were last year. Last year they were probably declining in large part because of the lack of inventory. This year there seems to be a mix of a lack of inventory and then also lower demand because of the pressure of the economic environment and interest rates around us. The second one is declining home values. This is huge. All last year, we saw appreciation. Even inside of recessionary pressures and interest rate increases, we still saw home values going up because of that still high demand and that low inventory. This January, we saw it decline. We saw it decline a little bit in December, but it was more pronounced in January. We saw a continuing decline in the number of new listings across markets. And here's an interesting one. We're seeing a pretty significant increase in days on the market in all markets as well. So homes are taking longer to sell, and fewer of them are selling at or above list price. So in fact, that number was around 50% all year last year. 50 to 60% would sell for either what the seller was asking for or more. Now, 36% in Emmett County sold at or over list. Only 22% in Charlevoix County sold at or over list price. And we're seeing an increase in the number of sellers that are dropping their price and expired listings. Now, when we talk about the real estate market, we usually talk about it in terms of whether it's good or bad based on the way an investor would value it, and that's based on price. The reality is this market is neither good nor bad depending on what your perspective is. So Bill, with your years of experience, love to kind of talk through what this means in your opinion, in our opinion, for all of the folks that are in the real estate market right now. So beginning with sellers, what do you think sellers can expect?
So yeah, I don't think it's all negative news. I think there's still some great opportunities for sellers, in particular right now as we wrap up winter, we get into spring before summertime. There is really an opportunity. That lack of new inventory coming on the market. We went to market with several listings in December and in January, and they are already under contract. The few that aren't under contract have had substantial activity. So less competition is really going to give you a much better opportunity of selling in a shorter time frame, or just attracting more buyers in general to get that perfect deal for you. So that's where I see the real opportunities for sellers. There's going to be a little bit more patience required. As you mentioned, with the days on the market, we have gone live with some listings, and the sellers were hopeful that there'd be multiple offers within the first 3 days or 7 days. Some things have shifted there. I think there is a little bit of nervousness maybe with buyers out there, but there's still plenty of buyers that want to be in Northern Michigan. This is not always a financial decision. It's often a lifestyle decision to live in Northern Michigan. And so that has not changed. That has not changed whether it's interest rates going up or the national economy. People's desire for a certain lifestyle remains. So I'm still pretty bullish, very strong on that sellers that want to sell and have to be just a little bit more realistic are going to have a good chance this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And if you go back and watch our 2023 prediction video, if you missed it, you know that sellers have a lot of house money to play with. So going back 5 years, 2018 in Emmett County, we saw 78% appreciation through the end of 2022, and in the 50s in Charlevoix County. So sellers are still going to do very well in terms of being able to pull equity out of their home. So now that we've talked about sellers, what about buyers? Can they get excited yet? Is it a buyer's market, do you think?
I wouldn't say it's a buyer's market yet. I know some people always say, well, realtors always say the market's great and it's good for buyers, it's good for sellers. I still think we're in a little bit of a challenging market for buyers just because that inventory is still so low. Interest rates are a little bit higher, but relative to, say, a 30-year study or something, they're not terrible. I believe the forecast is for interest rates to go down. We'll see what happens with that. But we are seeing maybe less multiple offers, less properties selling over asking price. So buyers that have been frustrated over the course of the last couple of years are probably going to have a better opportunity to get a property under contract, have a little bit more breathing room. We are still seeing, though, in certain price ranges, certain locations, we are seeing I wouldn't say a feeding frenzy, but we are seeing multiple offers. So, but I do think opportunities are going to open for buyers as more inventory comes on the market.
And we've experienced that too. As Bill mentioned, there are sellers in the market that are in the market because they want to go somewhere else. They're not trying to take advantage of the peak of the market and cash out. They need to sell. There's a bit more anxiety because the days of going live with your listing, getting 1,000 showings and 20 offers are, for the most part, there are occasionally multiple offer situations are behind us. We're in a much more normal situation, and there's a little bit of anxiety there. We work with both buyers and sellers to eliminate the emotion and bring people together on a good deal. So realtors, I mentioned that we work closely with buyers and sellers to manage the emotion and the anxiety that's in this process. There's still a lot of anxiety in the market, and I would say that's very true for realtors. Would you agree, and why is that? What can they expect for the year ahead?
Yeah, I think the real estate market for realtors is going to be a challenge this next year. Even these last 2 years, which we saw, properties sell much quicker. It was still a challenge for realtors. I think some might even say they had to work harder over the last couple of years than they did in the past, just because it was all hours of the day and whatnot. But I think as we get into this somewhat, I shouldn't say softer market, but changing market is probably a better term. You can't just list with your old high school buddy that doesn't have a marketing plan, that doesn't have everything in place to roll a property out. Marketing, I think, is going to become more important in this market as we see, again, the price reductions, days on the market increase. I think there's going to be some challenges where it's going to take another level of experience or dedication to get properties sold. Even despite the low inventory, I still think it's going to take more effort. So the bottom line, January's numbers down, might be scary for some. I think, as we mentioned, there's some real opportunities for sellers in this market. We're going to see more opportunities for buyers. Everyone's sort of saying a return back to normal, which I think is healthy for both buyers and sellers. We'll see if this trend continues. I know some national forecasts are a little bit negative on the real estate market overall. However, here in northern Michigan, I think we are somewhat insulated from that. As I said before, it's really sort of a lifestyle decision. Hopefully things maybe are going to become a little bit more affordable as well for local buyers. What's your take, Alisa?
I completely agree. I think whether you're buying or selling, most of the folks that are in the market right now are doing so because they want to live somewhere else or they want to own a home in northern Michigan. And a lot of the more speculative sort of behavior has left the market, and that's why we're feeling the pressure that we are. And I think there's going to be this ebb and flow that we talked about in our 2023 prediction video, and this is part of it. It's a little bit of a dance between demand coming down a little, then things improving on price and interest rates, and demand going back up. So we'll continue to see a little bit of volatility, but nothing too scary in the market. I also think that realtors are going to be poised to work a little bit differently, but still have a bright career and a good year in 2023.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're anxious. We're going to enjoy the month of February, but I'm sure you're anxious to see how those numbers play out.
I can't wait. February is always fun because it's short, so it's a little bit of a statistical challenge, but we're up for it. All right, we've talked about buyers and sellers. Bill, what do you think it means for realtors?
Sure. For realtors 2023, I think it's going to be an opportunity, but a challenge for many realtors here in Northern Michigan as well as across the country. I think we're going to have to work a little bit harder. I think the realtors that already have the established marketing plans, the processes in place, I think they're going to still see a continued level of success. I think the realtors that the last couple years, while we still instituted our marketing plan and our full launch program and really worked with buyers very diligently, I'm not going to say easier times of the last 2 years because they were certainly very, very challenging. But I do think we're going to get back to some of the basics of the hard knocks of marketing, of getting on the phones and making calls, really representing your client. I think those are going to return. So what do you think?
I completely agree, especially since I am a COVID realtor. A friend of ours calls the realtors that are new to the business COVID realtors. I couldn't imagine doing this without riding on the rails that he spent 22 years laying down for us, and also having the coaching and support that we have in our Winslow Group team. I'm excited, and he's gotten me excited about this. He survived 2008. He thrived in 2008. At Winslow Group, we're planning to thrive in 2023 and beyond. And one of the ways that we're doing that is we're adding to our team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're actually looking to expand by adding agents and probably another admin person this year as well.
Yep. So if I'm a realtor watching this video, I would say stay encouraged. You can still have an incredible future in real estate. It's just going to be a little bit different for a little while in this more normal market.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's January in a nutshell. We are very excited to support you in your buying, selling, and your career goals. Hit like and subscribe if you want to get more content like this. If you'd like to talk to us about working with or working for Winslow Group Real Estate, give us a call or slide into our DMs.